Vanilla. I don't think there's a more simple yet beautiful, divine, and gourmet ingredient than vanilla. Welcome to Easy Upgrades, brought to you by The Light Cellar. My name is Malcolm Saunders, and I want to share with you the world of vanilla. Vanilla bean. This is in fact the fruit of an orchid, the seed pod of an orchid, a particular type of orchid that produces this wonderful, divine, and gourmet pod here. But how do we use it? I mean, it took me a number of years. I mean, I'd never even actually touched a vanilla bean. I remember going through the health food stores and you see the vanilla in the glass vial for about $7 each. And back in those days, if I even had $7 to spend on vanilla, I wouldn't have known what to do with it. So I'm going to show you how to work with vanilla bean. It's a precious ingredient. It's a valuable ingredient. One of the reasons why, in fact, that it does cost so much, apart from its just inherent value and what it can add to our food and to our cuisine, and uplift our spirits, is the fact that wherever vanilla is grown, if it doesn't have a native pollinator, which most of the places it doesn't, it has to be hand pollinated. And that's obviously a very labor intensive process. This vanilla bean comes fresh from Madagascar. It's soft, it's supple, it's beautiful and delicious. So I use it in a number of different recipes like chocolate making, smoothies, milkshakes, elixirs. Sometimes I'll use the vanilla bean. Sometimes I'll use vanilla powder. Sometimes I'll use extract. This, in fact, is an extract I'd made myself, which I'll show you how to do that in another video. But working with the vanilla bean, what we need to do is slice it down the lengthways, one side of the vanilla, just to open it up. It's got this tough casing, this shell, which my knife didn't even go all the way through there. I go right through the middle there. Now we can open it up and begin to access where the real flavor, the real essence of vanilla is held, and that's in its seeds. So opening that up, you'll see thousands of tiny little seeds. Just touching it, you're going to get them all over your fingers. And that smell, that potency comes from that. So opening them up, revealing those seeds, we're going to take a spoon and we're going to scrape out a section of the vanilla and access just those seeds. Now that you can put into your chocolate, your smoothies, any type of recipe where vanilla is called for. It's much more concentrated and potent than the extract, so just a little bit goes a long way, and it's really up to you, depending on how large of, let's say, chocolate you're making, how much vanilla you want to put in. I like to get the most out of my vanilla beans, so I'll do a little bit for one recipe, save it, scrape out the rest, put it in another recipe. And once you've accessed all those seeds, then I hang on to these pods. They still have a lot of value, a lot of flavor and aroma to them. So a couple of different ways you can use that. So now with this leftover, you can put it into a sugar, right? Put it into a jar, maple syrup or cane sugar, whatever it is, and let that infuse into the sugar. Now you have vanilla sugar or vanilla maple syrup. Other thing you can do is pop that into a tea, be it a cold infusion, right? Like more like a sun tea or just a gentle room temperature steep. The flavors of vanilla are gonna seep out into the water and create a very delicious tea, which in fact, the flavor of cream soda is based off of vanilla. You can also create a hot tea, either just by itself or as in combination. One of my favorite teas I used to do years ago was goji, vanilla, and reishi. Sometimes that add licorice, but that was a great combination. Other option, which I like to do, is the empty seed pod, or even just the full seed pod if you're not gonna scrape it out first ahead of time, is you can snip it up, put little bits at a time into your smoothies, and in the blender that'll get blended up nicely, all the flavor dispersed, all the properties of vanilla into your drinks that way. Other alternative, save them, hang on to them, collect up a big stack of them, small little handful, then you can take that dried, put them in a coffee grinder, put them in a Vitamix, grind it down, and essentially create your own vanilla powder. Now, some forms of vanilla powder are literally that, where the seeds have been scraped out, dried vanilla pods ground down into a powder. Some vanilla powder is actually just those seeds, the inside. They call that the caviar, and you know that by the price tag. That's very expensive. Most vanilla powder, in the case of this one, is the whole bean, seeds, casing, everything dried and then ground to a powder. Very easy and convenient just to add a little bit to any recipe. And this one you'd, again, use slightly less than you would an extract, but again, whatever your choice, your preference is for how you like that flavor.